Welcome to Slick Talk, the hospitality podcast where we discuss all things hospitality, hotels, and business. You can find us online at slicktalkthepodcast.com and on every podcast listening platform.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to Slick Talk, the hospitality podcast. Again, your host, Will Slickers. And I have to say, this is probably my favorite episode already. We haven't even recorded or gotten into it, but I'm just saying it's my favorite because everyone knows how big of a fan and believer and rewards member and avid, person I am with Marriott. So to have you, Travis, on the show talking about homes and villas is pretty dang exciting for me. I feel like a fat kid in a candy shop, a kid on Christmas Eve, waking up to Christmas morning. This is something as a podcaster I've been waiting for. So thanks for being on the show, man. It's super exciting to have you on.
Yeah, happy to do it, Will. Glad you had me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's been fun to get to know you a little bit. We've talked a few times outside of this recording, and it's interesting to hear a little bit of your story. But I would love to just jump in to where it all started for Travis. How did you get into the hotel hospitality, and then now, of course, short-term rental game? And I'm just curious to know your origin, man.
Yeah, no. So I started a pretty unconventional route in college. I was in school for graphic design, and so I did 2 years of graphic design school in Gainesville, Florida. Go Gators! And I decided that I did not like the business of graphic design. I was more into the art and the creation, and so anyhow, I just said that wasn't for me. I did an internship, and then I bailed on that as a career path and ended up, I'm an avid sneakerhead, and I worked at a shoe store in college, Journeys, so I was buying all the skate shoes and everything. But anyway, I got a job as a Starbucks barista. I worked my way up while I was in college to assistant store manager. And then when I graduated college, I got my own store. So I managed a Starbucks for a couple of years in Orlando, Florida, right outside the Florida Mall, and got into hospitality, sort of an unconventional route. One of my regular customers was an HR manager, and so I ended up. She finally wore me down and talked me into coming and working as a valet parking manager at the Ritz-Carlton Orlando.
Oh wow!
And so I worked as a valet parking manager and ended up actually switching over because it was a contract valet company called Town Park, Go Town Park. And I switched over to actually work for the Ritz-Carlton Hotel. I started as a front desk agent at the Ritz-Carlton in Buckhead in Atlanta, and just got promoted a few times, ended up, front office manager, front desk manager, went to South Beach, Ritz-Carlton, and then Walt Disney World, Swan and Dolphin, jumped ship to the Starwood brands. And then ended up my last hotel job. I was a resident manager at the JW Orlando Grand Lakes. And I got recruited out of that hotel to come and lead guest experience and rooms operations for our hotel business in the Americas for a couple of years. And then found my way into the vacation rental industry as we were getting ready to launch Homes and Villas by Marriott International. About, I guess it's coming up on 2.5 years now that I've been working on this business.
Awesome. Well, I was going to ask, how is it like working for a Ritz-Carlton, just the classic, hospitality brand?
Yeah, that was the first hotel I ever worked for. So, the training is exceptional. You get a really good foundation in hospitality, what it means to serve, the rich culture that brand brings to the table. I worked for the St. Regis as well. And those luxury brands, if you can get a start in those kind of brands and learn the foundations of luxury hospitality early on, it sort of shapes the whole way you think about hospitality in general.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. I started with an autograph collection with Marriott, and so it's independently owned and operated, but still the
Yeah.
flag of Marriott standards and the rewards, and of course, well, Bonvoy now, but what used to be their rewards program back then was a little bit
Yeah.
different. So just like getting that implementation of high standards, not just like your regular, like I love Courtyard, but like not like a just like Courtyard feel. It's like different type of customer versus being an autograph collection. It's like more luxury and business and corporate feel with that high service expectation. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. The customer changes based on their need, right? We actually see a lot of cross-brand use. So like somebody who is traveling for business might stay in a Courtyard or a Residence Inn
Yeah.
while they're on business, and then redeem the points that they've earned with their families at a Ritz-Carlton resort for vacation. So it's cool. A lot of different crossover and everything. So
yeah. So what's your new title right now with Marriott Homes and Villas? Because I know you just recently got a new title change, and
yeah.
I'm kind of curious on the not only the new title, but where did it go from, managing the hotel business side of things to getting into the Marriott Homes of what was the leading moments of that getting into Homes and
Yeah.
Villas?
Well, so I started out 2.5 years ago when this business was Tribute Portfolio Homes. It was a proof of concept that we were doing in London, Rome, Paris, and Lisbon. So we started off small with one professional property manager. And so I was brought in towards the end of Tribute Portfolio Homes when we were all part of customer experience innovation. So the innovation team was the sort of the incubator of these, it's like Skunk Works anywhere is all born out of innovation. So, it was my job to come in and create the brand standards, the quality assurance program, onboard the new partners, the home management company partners, and just really figure out like, how do we build a business that, for example, earning and redeeming Marriott Bonvoy points, that's not something that typically happens outside of our hotels right now, right? Because just the infrastructure of how to make that happen, nobody had ever done that before that's outside of hotels. So, I had to work with our finance team and help to craft all of the ways to make that thing work. So, it's really fascinating to jump into a big company like Marriott and then build something special and unique in our innovation team. Is really an exciting time when we were in the basement, literally in the basement of Marriott headquarters, building this thing from scratch. And when we launched it, it was kind of cool. Like, you don't get an opportunity very often in your career to work on something that's so top secret and then shock the hospitality world. It was really, really kind of cool.
Seriously. And I was going to ask because you and I have, similar background, just both being hotel guys getting into the vacation rental space. What were the things that you were doing to understand like hotels and like the concept, like vacation rentals itself too? It's not a new concept. Like, we're not discovering fire, right? But the overall segment of like vacation rentals is a very fast and growing segment of hospitality. What were you doing to learn and like understand that segment, like that traveler and just the industry itself, going from hotels to that?
Yeah, we did some initial consumer research, and we discovered that a lot of our hotel guests, our Bonvoy members, were leaving our hotel portfolio at least once every 12 months to go and experience a home rental stay. And they were leaving, our hotels, and they were going to a competitor to get this kind of experience. It's not something that, if you're going to book a home rental, and you've got it, that's the trip purpose that you have in your mind, you're going to find that trip purpose wherever you can find it, and you're going to go and look for it and book it. And so we didn't have that as part of our portfolio at the time. So that was really what prompted this whole thing, is that we saw our customers leaving us for this, and our customers were giving us permission to go and seek this out. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's really the purpose of it, was to just, continue to give our customers what they want. Yeah.
So that you would say that's the overall like mission of the Homes and Villas program, is really to continue that Marriott, loyalty, but not only that, just that experience. Like the Marriott name carries very well. I think we can all agree to that within the industry of hospitality. So
yeah. No, sorry, I realized I didn't finish your question. I guess early on, like we weren't naive enough to think that we knew everything about vacation rentals. Just because you've gotten, a company built on 95 years of hospitality experience doesn't mean that you automatically through osmosis know this other, sort of, alternative accommodation business, the vacation rental industry. That is, it's got a rich and storied history that goes back, frankly, a lot farther than any of the, digital online distribution platforms, right? These go back
exactly.
to the local vacation cottage industry that's been around for decades. And so, for us, it was about like, I wanted to learn as much as possible, get just inundated into the industry. We immediately joined the Vacation Rental Management Association, immediately went into, basically every trade show, conference, every opportunity that we got to learn from the professionals in this industry. And frankly, we learned a whole bunch from our partners, right? And just, spending time with those partners who really know the ins and out of the industry. And so that's how we kind of got inundated with as much information as possible early on. And, we've learned an awful lot in the last 2.5 years.
Yeah.
But, to answer your other question, like the mission of Homes and Villas is sort of that, right? Is to give our customers that vacation rental experience when they want it, that you can earn and redeem Marriott Bonvoy points in your hotel stays. And then when it's time for you to go, on that extended family vacation to a place where we may not even have a hotel, right? Some places that are more traditional vacation rental markets, they may not sustain a full service Marriott hotel because they're so seasonal.
Yeah.
Some of our destinations, like ski destinations, remote ski destinations, frankly, they just don't support a hotel, but they can have a thriving vacation rental industry. And this gives Marriott customers, our Bonvoy customers, another, set of destinations and product that they can go and earn and redeem Bonvoy points in.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And I'm as you're telling us about like joining, the Vacation Rental Management Association and a few other things, how hard was it for, like, people obviously knew you're from Marriott, right? Like how hard was it to keep, like, were they questioning you, like walking in the room, like seeing there's Marriott on the name tag, or just like understanding like, why is this big hotel name company having people come to our vacation rental? So like,
Yeah.
what was that like?
Yeah, well, we didn't do any of that until after we
Okay.
launched. We relied on our partners early on.
Okay.
Yeah, after launch, we were, we still are, frankly, new and different, and sort of like a novelty to some of the vacation rental players who've been around for a long time. It's you kind of walk around, you feel like eyes are on you, and it's almost like being the homecoming queen, right? Like everybody kind of wants to talk to you. So it's kind of fun. And frankly, it's been just a great learning experience, very humbling. And, there are some really amazing vacation rental managers and vendors and technology platforms that just, frankly, we just didn't have any insight into until we launched this business. And it's been just an eye-opening experience to get to know these people.
Yeah. I was going to ask, and I know the answer is probably no, but since you're a graphic design guy, were you the one that did the logo? Because I'm a big fan of the logo.
No,
Loving the brand.
It was done in-house.
Okay.
It was done in-house. I will say the illustrious Kat Rodriguez on our team designed that logo. So
well,
she's
shout out to Kat Rodriguez then.
There you go. She's going to love me for that. And she's going to love you for loving the logo. But yeah, it was done in-house by one of our innovation graphic designers.
No, that's awesome. Amazing work.
Yeah.
I just, I don't know. It brings back cause like I said, I've been a big Marriott fan since like the day I got into hotels. That's where I started. That's where my passion and everything came from. And so just to see the evolving, side of the business and hearing your guys' stories and just like the understanding of like the background stuff is just super cool. Like I could geek out about this for hours and just like go on and like my poor listeners is probably like, move on to the next topic. But I'm like, no, this is great. So good job, Kat Rodriguez. But I want to talk to you now on, like you said, you've learned a lot from your vendors, your property managers, the people that have been doing this. And you, like you said, you took the industry by storm and by surprise, to be honest, with the launch of this program. So what has it been like growing this vertical pre-COVID? Because you guys have been doing it about 2.5 years. Now we're in about 8 months of COVID-19 world and post-pandemic. So what has it been like pre-COVID growing it, and then now during this, and what do you guys maybe even see for the future?
Yeah. So pre-COVID, it was, the mission was, we're growing in a thoughtful way. We're adding inventory where our customers tell us that they want to go. We only work with professional property managers who have exacting standards for cleanliness, maintenance, customer service and support. And I wouldn't say that it's changed dramatically. Like our strategy hasn't changed dramatically in the time of COVID. I would say that, the customer mindset has shifted in a way that I think that people are more open and accepting to vacation rentals because, just through the natural, course of sort of the arc of this pandemic has been locked down at first. Nobody goes anywhere. Then people got like a little bit antsy and they wanted to start to travel, but they were kind of just putting their little toe into it. And they're like, where can I go where I can drive to a local leisure destination? They want to have more control over their environment and not, necessarily be around a lot of people. And so I think a lot of customers tried vacation rentals for the first time in those early months of COVID. And so, we saw some nice increases in our booking traffic. And so, I think it's just been like the strategy hasn't changed dramatically, but I think the customer mindset has shifted to be more open and accepting to vacation rentals. Particularly the Marriott Bonvoy customer may have tried that type of experience for the first time as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. And I'm curious, so I'm guessing you guys have seen a huge growth then of activity and bookings on that side since everything's kind of gotten to lockdown type deal.
Yeah, it's a product of, the growth of the business. We've grown from, we started with about 2,000 properties. We've grown now 2 years later, we're at about 16,000 properties.
Wow.
And we'll continue to grow the business in a responsible way. And so, it's like almost with 2,000 properties, even if you have your wallet out and you're ready to go somewhere, it can be hard to find something if you don't have depth of inventory in the places where you want to go. So you may look, and if we were in a market, we had 20, 30 homes and you want to go there, either A, the inventory would have been maybe gone, or B, you're like, is really 20 homes enough for me to make an intelligent booking decision? But as we've grown and sort of strategically deepened inventory in certain areas, we've seen an uptick in bookings because we have, frankly, the availability and the inventory to support that. But yeah, I mean, also COVID has, like I said, it's maybe made people more accepting and willing to try to go somewhere that's a local drive destination.
For sure. People are discovering their backyard a little bit more, and so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say, and do you think this plays a role in, because this is what I think. I think that, and I want your opinion, but the ability that Marriott's like the importance of building standards, right? So on the hotel side, they have built an ingrained standardization and like what to expect at this certain level. Do you see that playing an important role with the Homes and Villas program? Obviously, like you said, working with your property managers and stuff, but I think that's like pretty key thing. Like, and I think long story short, to not ramble on, but like the importance of like the growth of the industry in vacation rentals, like the more we standardize, the more we professionalize, the more this vertical will grow. You guys see that being a pretty important role for you guys as well?
Yeah. I think people look to us for that, as to be a leader in sort of like the professionalization and standardization. And they look to us and they point to us and say, see, you know, here's an example of the industry getting more professionalized and more standardized. You know, the role that we play in that is important. I think we've chosen our partners very specifically because they can execute on the standards that we have. You know, our standards around fire and life safety, around cleanliness and maintenance and customer service. You know, they're not something that everyone is willing to do, right? We've had several partners who look at those standards and say, hey, would love to work with you, but you know, I just can't deal with, you know, putting carbon monoxide detectors and smoke alarms in all of our units, and you know, whatever. Like there's a myriad of standards that somebody who doesn't want to participate in could easily say, you know, this isn't the right thing for me, right? It's much easier for me not to deal with that. But yeah, I think the industry is hungry for it. I think the customer is hungry for it. If anything, COVID has intensified the desire for standardization, specifically around cleanliness. Yeah. You know, and I think that, you know, customers will not let you get away with, you know, especially a new customer to this industry who maybe is trying it for the first time, who is used to staying in a hotel with standards. They're not going to let you skate on a dirty house, right? Like it's got to be clean. So we partnered with, you know, and that's the fun thing about Marriott, is that we can leverage our existing contacts and vendors that we use for our hotels. And so we partnered with Ecolab early on to create new standards and retrained all of our professional property managers on our new standard for disinfection. And so, yeah, I think it's important, and it's only going to get more important as we go.
For sure. I think a good friend, I think you know him as well, Jeremy Gall from Breezeway, was talking about, you know, last year, 2019, we're talking about cleanliness and safety as separate topics. Now, 2020, COVID-19 really put those two together. It synced them. You can't talk about safety without bringing up cleanliness, and vice versa. So it's pretty cool to hear about Ecolabs and creating that training for the property management. Because I just remember, you know, back in April, tons of my property manager friends and people in the industry were like, what is everybody using? What do we do? How do we we've been cleaning and we've been doing it professionally, but you know, how does this new virus that no one really knew much about at the time, how does this really handle with our product that we have now? Like, how do we, you know, make sure and verify to ensure trust and safety for our guests? So yeah, no, I think it's incredible. I guess for me, I'm curious now, what have been like your biggest insights or experiences, like kind of like some takeaway moments, being with the Homes and Villas program, you know, you talk about pre-COVID or during COVID, but I'm curious, you know, there's got to be some moment where you were just like, yeah, this is pretty key to growth in the industry and being a game changer.
Yeah, I think, you know, just personally, one thing that I've learned is that, I mean, it should go without saying, but it didn't. So, like, full disclosure, it didn't. But, you know, the vacation rental industry is just a completely different industry than hotels. And I think that, you know, strategies and things that work in hotels don't often translate one for one in vacation rentals. You know, I think you know, maybe like I may have had a more Pollyannish kind of viewpoint on vacation rentals before, and so like I've learned, you know, I've been all over the world, frankly, in vacation rentals. You know, because I led global operations, so we were, you know, anywhere and everywhere in every type of home imaginable, and you know, it's just different. Like, you know, hotels, you have control over the environment in a way that you just don't in a vacation rental. Like some of our hotels, like I can tell you, you know, I would have room attendant housekeepers who have an assigned section. They clean that room and those set of 16 or whatever rooms. They do it every day, you know, 5 days a week for, you know, 10, 15, 20 years, right? And they know from the back of their hand, they know every problem in that room. They know every single thing about that room, and they take pride in cleaning it. And with a vacation home, you know, every home is different. And, you know, regardless of the standard that you have, you still have, you know, so many variables in a home that you just don't have in a hotel room, right? 16 hotel rooms of the same category, you know, you're going to have the same chair, the same desk, the same TV, the same floor, you know, there's not a lot of variation in the product within an individual hotel. And, you know, if you're running a portfolio of, you know, 50 to 1,000 homes, each one of those homes is different and has different everything. So, you know, I guess like, I assumed going into this that a lot of things that transfer over from hotels would have relevancy in vacation rental marketplace, and that it's just not. It's just different.
No, that's very true. And you think about like the square footage and the extra plumbing and electric and all the other stuff that goes like in the workings of a home. Yeah, it's a lot different than a hotel for sure.
And everything, like from you know, from a marketing perspective, from a you know, this is also like Marriott's first entrance into being a digital branded distribution platform. And so, you know, our wheelhouse, our bread and butter has been franchising or managing hotels. And so, you know, it's been honestly, it's been like a blessing to learn as much as I feel like I've learned more in this 2.5 years than I did in the previous 10, 12 years before that from a career development perspective. This industry and this business and launching something new has really opened my eyes in a way that I hadn't had the opportunity yet.
No, that's well put. Very well put. Well, now as we're getting close to 2021, you know, it's December 1st as we're recording this episode. So the question comes down to, which I've been asking a lot of my guests lately, and I'm keen on your answer more than anybody. What do you see happening overall in the industry as we continue to move forward leading into 2021? A lot of people are, you know, predicting a dark first 6 months and then a great, you know, peak in the last 6. But I'm kind of, you know, still skeptical. We've been saying that since April, March. So
yeah,
I'm kind of curious your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think you have to, there's so many variables and dependencies that are outside of our control. And that's clearly the most frustrating part of any of this for all of us, is that, this is something that has rocked every part of the travel industry in a very material way, and it is completely outside of the realm of our control, and that's what makes it so maddening and crazy to deal with. So I'll say that I guess I'll preface by saying I have no idea, Will, what the future holds, but I guess I'll turn it on to hope, right? Because I hope that, because I really don't know, but here's what I hope. I hope that the vaccine is delivered and distributed and taken as we're being told that it's going to be. And my hope is that instills enough confidence in customers to get on planes, to go out and travel. I think there's going to be an enormous amount of pent up demand, that people want to get out and travel again. And I people always said in the early days of this, that this would dramatically change the customer behavior in the travel industry for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I know, here's what I hope. Again, I go back to hope because that's all I got, Will. Here's what I know about people is that we need human interaction. We need connection. And this has been a time of great isolation for a lot of people. And, people want to get out there and travel. Like, I cannot tell you how badly I want to get on an airplane and go somewhere. Like, I was flying every week or every other week for the last 3-4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't gone anywhere outside of Washington County, Maryland for 8-10 months. And I can tell you, like, the first opportunity I get to take a vacation or take a business trip, I'm going to be there with bells on, man. I want to get out and see the world again. And I bet you that everybody else does too. So all I've got is hope, but I hope that everybody feels like me and that we want to get out there and travel again.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Theme of the episode, hope. We'll just stick with that.
Hey, they say hope is not a strategy, but sometimes that's all you got, Will. When things are outside of your control, that's all you got.
No, that's very true. Well, while we're all very hopeful and very, I guess we can even say thankful, as we just had Thanksgiving and we're getting into holiday season. Is there anything that you can reveal behind the curtain of Marriott Homes Villas to the audience? Maybe something that you guys are excited about, just anything going on in your guys' world. We'd love to hear it and support you behind it with the the Slick Talk audience that obviously if they're fans of me, they're fans of Marriott. So that's hope. Let me say, I was in the quotes of Travis, I hope they're fans of me and hope they're fans of you.
Yeah, I mean, you got to hope that people like you if they listen to you.
Exactly.
Yeah, I will say, we're going to continue the trajectory of growth that we're on. And so, I now, like I said before, I was in charge of global operations and quality before. Now my new role is I'm leading the Americas, US and Canada business. And so I'm responsible now for new business development. I'm responsible for operations and quality in the US and Canada continent, marketing and guest experience. So it's sort of like, leading the US and Canada business, which is, a sizable part of our business. Yeah. I will say what, if anything I can share is that we want to grow and we want to work with professional property managers. And so if we're not talking to you currently, we would like to be. If you manage a portfolio of homes and you think that you will be okay with meeting the standards that we have laid out before you, we want to talk to you. We want to grow our business and continue to do it with great partners. So that would be my the only plug that I'll have is if we're not talking to you already and you're a professional property manager and you want to work with Marriott International, let's get together. Let's see if we can work something out.
Awesome. Well, we already gave a little bit of a shameless shout out or plug in for Kat Rodriguez. It was Kat, right? And
it's Kat, yeah.
Okay. And of course, the property managers that aren't working with you that want to. But where can people find you, or maybe any final thoughts that you have for the Slick Talk audience out there that's listening today?
Yeah. So, we're on Homes and Villas by Marriott.com, or just any search will find us quickly. And you can also catch a redirect off of Marriott.com. Yeah, I mean, parting words, Will. I will say I'm going to lean into the hope strategy again, and say, let's all hope together that we can get this pandemic behind us. People can start traveling again, and we can get the the travel economy back on its feet. There's a lot of people hurting out there, a lot of people out of work, a lot of hotels out there who need to grow occupancy, and we just got to hope that things get better, and we can get this vaccine out and get people traveling again quickly, and put all this craziness behind us.
Couldn't agree more. I think it's a good final note to parting words to leave everybody on. Travis, actually not Travis, so all the listeners that are listening, I'm going to tag everything in the show notes, so don't need to Google search. I'll just have it at a click of a button right there for all the listeners in the show notes. But if you're curious or anything, reach out. We'll make sure you guys are all good. Travis, I love working with you on the side of like podcasts and talking, industry topics and seeing all the LinkedIn posts and everything you guys are doing. So again, just really grateful and hopeful to meet you in person someday as we're, hopefully putting the stuff behind us. But thank you for being on the show, my man. It's been a true pleasure to geek out with you for a little bit. And I look forward to, again, like I said, hopefully meeting you in person someday.
Yeah, my pleasure, Will. Thanks, everybody.
Welcome to Slick Talk, the hospitality podcast where we discuss all things hospitality, hotels, and business. You can find us online at slicktalkthepodcast.com and on every podcast listening platform.